Hey you, what kind of skateboard project should we work on today? Oh, you want to build an ESC and battery cover? Okay, you heard it. Today's topic, ESC and battery cover. I'll see you in the garage. I am working on converting this skateboard into an electric skateboard, and I have the drivetrain laid out, 30 amp ESC and 42 volts, and this battery. And the enclosure that we're building today is going to look something like this. This is an enclosure I built a couple months ago. Here is what you will need to build an enclosure for your battery and ESC. One is the mold. Two, the material I'm using is Schedule 1 PVC. This is 1/8 thickness. Some cutting tools. We can do manual cutting tools, electric power tools. I prefer table saw for everything I do today, but if you don't have a table saw, this two will work fine. You will need some scrap wood for helping you mold this PVC. You need some clamps of various sizes to clamp the mold in place. Oh, I forgot to mention, you will also need a heat gun to heat the PVC. Getting dimensions right is key. The best way to get dimensions right is get your battery and get your ESC. And this, I'm going with a single design where it's one ESC and battery in one enclosure. So, and make sure you have plenty of extra room for switch to be installed for the speed controller. There's going to be some extra wires running around. So make sure you give yourself a little bit of wiggle room when you sit your mold down onto the skateboard. Most of the skateboards are not flat. They'll be rolling around. So therefore, I'm going to have a hard time having a level mold. On my molds, you can put two little guides on each side. Therefore, when this sits on a skateboard, it sits nice and even, and you can mold PVC over the top of it. So two key things: proper dimensions and making a bottom stable for the curvature of the deck. This PVC sheet, or Schedule 1 PVC, doesn't bend super easily, but it is a very sturdy and durable material once you do bend it. To make your molding process more efficient, draw out the cutout of the design of your mold on the PVC itself, cut out the excess unneeded material, and then make your mold. Let's do some drawing. First, draw some center lines. Once you draw the center line on your PVC sheet, also draw a center line on your mold so you can line the two up. And we're going to do just that. Line one over the top of the other. This gives you an idea of where the center line is and how much area your mold will take up. So now we have the mold perimeter traced on your PVC. Next, figure out the thickness, how much you want to slack you want to leave on the side. Keep in mind, PVC is hard to heat and bend, so the less extra PVC you have, the easier your bending and molding process is. Let's measure the thickness of your mold. Mine is approximately 1.5 inches So my access slack needs to be 1.5 inch or about 1.5 inch to cover the wall of the mold and some excess so that you can form it to the bottom of the board. So this is about 2.5 inches. I'm not going to do anything here, and I'm going to measure 3 inches on the end and cut that out as waste. To minimize the confusion, the parts of the PVC that I'm going to cut off, I typically mark with a line through it, a squiggly line. So to make a 3D object out of the flat sheet of PVC, we're going to have to cut out some corners to allow for the folds to come together. You can go with the different designs here, but I'll show you typically what I would do. I'm going to be marking parts that will be folding, and then also will be marking parts that I'll be cutting out to make the shape work. So here you can see how the PVC was marked for cutting. What I struck out will be getting cut off. We started with the original perimeter, then drew straight lines on each side, long and short, to see what needs to be cut off, and then to make an angle for the cut, and that creates a little open slit on the side of your enclosure. I do that for ventilation purposes, and it makes folding process of PVC much easier when you have a little bit of an angle. So I use from a straight line, I went 1/2 inch into each direction to make an open slit here. When this folds and this folds, it's going to be a little bit of an opening here on the corner. Next order of business, let's get this shape all cut out. When you're building stuff in the garage and you're using your table saw, safety is the key. Here's Joe with safety announcement. Always use precautions and don't get your thumb cut off. There you have it. We got our mold cut out. Okay, so we're done making our cuts in PVC. Now we have our form. Next, I like to go around and mark where my CST is going to sit. That way, when it's marked, I can put some vent holes in it to keep the ESC and heatsink cool. Which, for living in Florida, I gotta have some ventilation for my speed controller. Alright, good job. ESC can stay cool now because we put some gun hose in an ESC cover. Next, we're going to attach our PVC cutout to our battery and ESC cover mold, and we're going to get it ready for molding. Mold I'm using, I decided to go with a little ridge line design, so that will give me a little bit of a contour to the bottom of the battery bed. Alright, so I'm using 4 screws and 4 washers to secure the PVC cutout to the battery mold. The whole PVC cutout is going to try to move from side to side as you mold in it. So if you secure it nicely on 4 sides, it's not going to happen. Because I have a ridge line in the middle of my battery cover right here, I'm going to heat up the PVC first right in the middle, bend it so that my ridge line is formed on PVC. Alright, we got the PVC cutout and mold fused together, or screwed together. Let's shape it. Okay, next we're going to attach our mold and PVC cutout to the board itself. And there's a few things we're going to do before we just put it on there. First, I marked where my trucks are: rear truck, front truck. Since this cover is pretty small, front truck is not so much important, but rear truck is important. Then we're gonna mark and draw a center line so we can have a good alignment with our mold. And a couple other things to consider is the length of your wires, how long your wires are, and how far or close your ESC cover needs to be molded or mounted onto your board. Let's do some stuff. Now with the use of this clamp, we're going to secure this whole assembly to my stand. If you don't have a stand, secure it to something else, table, whatever works for you, but it has to be secure. We're about to start molding this shit. Here's how it looks. Use the heat gun and hit the shit out of the whatever piece you're hitting. So I'm going to start with the rear end fold. When I hit it, I'm not just going to hit one part right here. I'm going to hit the whole flop and some of the material here until it's all pretty flimsy. Once everything is hot and flimsy, take your little piece of wood of appropriate length. So this is a bit short, it needs to be longer. And once it's done heating, press it down and hold for a few minutes until it cools off. If you have any kind of source of cool air, you can use this to make your cooling process quicker. ESC are done forming. That's good news. We still gotta do some more tweaks to the battery cover and ESC cover. We have some excess PVC hanging over. We don't need that. So pick a margin that you're gonna go with that's gonna work for your fasteners, whatever you're gonna use to secure the cover, the board. I'm just gonna use this little, I think it's a 3/4 inch piece of wood, and I'm just gonna mark it all around the ESC cover. Also, before you separate this entire assembly away from the board, it's a good idea to mark and drill your mounting holes. I'm just gonna eyeball it. 3 on this side, and after that 3 on this side. And I'm gonna repeat this procedure for the outside, for the front and back flaps. So all the holes for drilling have been marked, and all the excess trim has been marked. Let's take care of it. Here's what we ended up with. It looks like a solid cover to me. We're gonna mark and drill a few more holes in it. One for on-off switch, one for charger, and for the motor wires. Start with the motor wires first. Alright, so coming in into the right side of my ESC. I'm gonna mark the hole for it. That big black mark. DBM. Set our ESC in there and see where we should put the on-off switch. It could work here on the back. It'll probably be easier to access up here on the right side. Right here or right here. It's going to be on, off. Boom. Got a battery in there. Let's see how everything looks. And let's figure out where the charger is going to go. Battery is in. This is my charging cable. So for my charger cable, I'm going to run it up here on the side. I'm just going to have it stick out up here on the side and glue it to the side. So I need to take off a little bit more out here to expose my charger port. Let's take care of the on-off switch first. Alright, booyah, we got us an on-off switch. Get that shit out of there. Next, motor wires. I'm just gonna drill one big ass hole in there. Alright, we got a hole for our wires, hole for on-off switch, and we just gotta take care of the charger port connection. I'm gonna use my Dremel tool for this. But then we are going to do a little fit test to make sure everything works. Battery and ESC cover are almost done. Let's check it out. Behind the scenes, I did a little paint job, and this thing is ready to be put together. So let's see that next. To secure the ESC inside of the enclosure, I used this sponge window seal, a little bit of that, and a little bit of hot glue. I don't really glue it onto the ESC, but I just glue all around it and provide some foam padding on top so it doesn't vibrate. And my heat sink is pointed out so it can exchange heat or lose heat and keep this board cool. This made a huge difference in with this simple whatever $40 eBay ESC. Living in Florida, they used to overheat pretty often. Since then, they started putting a bigger heatsink, which helped, but still occasionally he would overheat it and it would just shut off. But once I started putting some vent holes into the ESC enclosure, that mitigated that issue.